Q&A. If you have any questions regarding your assignment or regarding the lessons, you can come and ask the questions next week. So just to take note, guys, assignment 3 due date is 29th of June, okay? Not 6th July. I have sent a clarifications via emails. I hope you have received it, okay? Now let's go straight into the lessons.
Hello everyone, welcome to our last week of lectures, week 12. I'll be here next week for questions, but there won't be a class, so I'll just be in the room. On Monday, I've got to go to Sydney and do a guest lecture, which will be those guys do estimating. But Ali, you might be able to come in on Monday and just sit in the room for a bit to talk about any estimating questions for a little while. If you've got any questions there, and then next Thursday, I'll be here if you've got any questions about the assignment. Ali will be here too. So I have the whole Brains Trust here next Thursday. But Monday, you'll only have the best part of the Brains Trust. So today I want to talk about finishes. Pretty important. This is the nice, tricky, trappy bit where we're going to... I noticed you guys that did estimating, someone's been giving the second year guys in measurement 1 the bill from this... I don't know if you've given it to your brother, Jackson, but just be careful because I put a lot of sneaky tricks in that bill because I think that'll happen, and there's a lot of guys in measurement 1 just copying out that bill thinking, oh, beauty, I've got all the answers. So I've purposely baited it. So just remind your brother, don't believe that bill. I know I'm going to catch a few because I've tried to talk them out of it, but the golden bundle of a free assignment that there is just, the temptation is too great. They won't listen to reason. So, Jackson, get on to your brother and say, that bill's okay, just strip descriptions out of and that sort of thing, but don't believe anything else. In fact, to prove it, if you look at a lot of the quantities, there are engine capacities from Holden's. So that's the sequence. So if you look at that, so just look out for your brother, because I know. Did you get hold of that lesson, that class off him? So he doesn't give you his password or his login details or anything. Oh, gee, what an untrusting fella he is. I mean, terrible, isn't it, when your own brother won't give you your login details? Never mind. Let's get onto it. So what we want to look at, we're on slide 2, distance guys in the Singapore crew. What we want to look at is sections 26, 27 and 28 in the method. And that is the thing I want to stress, and I know I've already stressed it, but I want to stress it a lot. It's not a single trade. And you'll be amazed how many people will give me a bill and the trade in the bill will be finishes. And I know it seems like that, and I don't know why in the method they've done it that way, but finishes is not a single trade, it's a whole big group of trades. Now when we go through the method, the first part sets up the preambles and everything for all the different trades and all the rules for all the different trades, and then it breaks in. So section 26, there's actually 3 parts to section 26 in the method, and it's in situ applied finishes. Adam's favourite part, the plasterboard part, where I was just disappointed, Adam. I thought you'd come in with your plasterboard hammer and your nails and your bit of sample plasterboard. Own the car, is it, for later? I thought we could plasterboard over a few windows. Nah. So Adam, we're expecting Adam to get 100% for the plasterboard section, aren't we? And 26.1 is render, that type of thing. Applied finishes, metal lathing, I'll explain that later on. And then you've got tile, slab and pavings, and carpet and resilient finishes. Carpet and resilient finishes means vinyl. Vinyl tile, sheet vinyl. So you can see they're 2 separate trades, 2 separate types of people do them, but that's what we'll get on to. So the first section in 26, this applies to all of part 26, and part 26 will break into 3 parts a bit later on. But the old favourite preambles, I guess they didn't want to write them.
Okay, guys, are you there? Okay, I hope that you hear what I'm talking. Okay, first, today we will look at section 26, 27, and 28. Okay, although you see Institute of Life finishes plasterboard, although they all belong to finishes, but each of these sections is a trade by itself. Alright, so let's say, for example, if you have tile, slab, and paving, so tile is one trade, slab and paving is another, slab also another trade, paving is another trade. Likewise for carpet and resilient finishes, so if you have carpet, you make it as one trade. You have resilient finishes, which is vinyl tile, you have another trade. So if you look at your assignment here, okay, you see finishes, so this is not the trade headings. But later on, if you look at further, you can see that this is the first item is plasterboard ceiling. The second item is ceramic tile. Third item, ceramic tile. So plasterboard, one trade. These 2 items is another trade. Carpet, another trade. Vinyl floors is another trade. Granulated topping is another trade. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades instead. So what does it mean by 5 trades? It means that you will have 5 small BOQ for each of them. Okay, so before we create this BOQ, let's go to the a method and to find out which part of the method is referring to that. Okay, let's move on here.
Preambles out 3 times because we almost know them off by heart now, don't we? I mean, Jackson's brother could recite the preambles. I almost get them to recite the preambles in class, the second year guys. So you've got the introduction, refer the introduction, general rules and recommendations, refer the spec, always the same 2 things. So I'll see that many times in your bill. In fact, if you were smart, you would copy and paste. You type those 2 lines out once, copy and paste them to every trade because they don't ever differ. So, and then the third item is always something else to give samples or testing or something like that. That's the one you've got to look for. Oh, sorry, you can't. The second line, you would only copy and paste it to the end, referring to particulars of, and you copy and paste that, and then you would write in the trade at the end of that that applies to. That's the way I would do it, because I don't like typing. And for some reason in my mind, I think that editing things is faster, even though I will often edit everything in a whole description apart from one word. I think, gee, that was good. That saved me a lot of time. And I'm sure if I typed it out to start with, it would have been quicker. But I just don't like typing, and I'd rather edit things. So you might get to be like that one day. So that will be our prelims, preambles, sorry, for every section. So every trade that we've got. These same rules apply to the 3 sections as well. Measure the area to be covered. That's pretty common sense. Measure the external and internal work separately. Integrate coloured and waterproofing. So often you'll get is for cement render, it's coloured render, and it's if you've been to Europe, you'll see a bit of this, and it's all washed out sort of colour by now because it's been up there for 100 years or more. And you'll have coloured render. And often there's a waterproofing agent put in the render. So if it's on the outside of a building that's got a waterproofing agent in it, and then it sort of helps to waterproof the building. Work to existing surfaces, and Adam could tell us that that's harder. If it's an existing surface, you might have to check the surface. For render, you might have to scaffold the surface back. I remember one job, the labourer was scabbling the surface back, and he was chipping on a brick with a big dag on it. That's a lump. And the mortar was that weak in the wall that it pushed the brick out the other side of the wall. So work on existing surfaces has got to be done separately because it's often got a little bit more involved in it. And repairs. We're on slide 5 now, distance guys. The old less than square metre. Measure any little areas less than square metre. It's where the gyprock is, like the rogues in the class. pick up the extra dollars when you've got a little bit to do, and they say, oh, that's less than a square metre, that's going to cost you a lot more. And when you work out the square metre rate, it's about 10 times the normal square metre rate. But they do that, don't they, Adam? Yeah.
Okay, are you still there? Okay, so give you an example. This one is quite common sense. Okay, measure the area to be covered, be the area before finishings. Yeah, sometimes after you do the finishing, the area may get slightly smaller or slightly bigger, but you will measure the area as before finishings. External and internal separately. Usually external is more expensive because if you do, like, for example, external wall plastering, you need to have scaffolding, so it will be much more expensive as compared to internal plastering. Okay, measured integrally, colored and waterproof work separately. Okay, what does it mean by this? Okay, I give you example is let's say you have cement, sand, screed. I hope that at this moment you will know what is cement, sand, screed. Basically, cement plus sand plus water and then mix together and then plaster on the walls. Okay, so what is integrally? Integrally mean mix together. Okay, so if let's say you have cement, sand, screed plastering that have red color, so that will be measured separately. Apart from separately from the normal cement, sand, screed. Okay, then what about integrally waterproof? Okay, so integrally mean mix together. You can mix together with a color pigment, or you can mix together with waterproof. For example, you can have a waterproof plaster. For example, you can mix together with some sort of silicone sealant solutions into the cement, sand, screed, and will create some sort of barriers for water to go through. So it's a waterproof cement, sand, screed, or waterproof plastering. Okay, so if you have a scrapbook, it's measured separately. This one is work to existing surfaces and in repairs. Okay, for examples, in repairs mean the area may not be big areas, maybe a small spotted or locally located areas. Existing surfaces, maybe you need to do some additional work to to form the keys so they can bind together, or or clean it up before you do the plastering, the finishes on it. Isolated surface, okay, because isolated surface have less economy of scale, so measured separately because they have cost differently. So whenever something is required to measure separately, is mainly because their price are different. The price is different. Describe work to a pattern or in more than one colors. Definitely, let's say you ask people ask you to do some sort of painting, okay, but you paint your bedroom, so it will only all the entire bedroom using one color, white, for example. That would be pretty cheap as compared to you got 6 colors in one bedroom. That's will be much more expensive. So for those of work that in a patterns, oh, I want to make the painting in flower patterns, or cartoon patterns, totally different price. Another one is measure work survey less than 250 mm. Why? It means a narrow, because narrow will have more wastage. You will need to be more careful, so you spend longer hours of labor. Okay, different types of kind of finishes separately. Okay, this is definitely because they have different costs. So this is a M measurement.
Look at him over there, grinning.
And this measurement rule, guys, were applicable for all the section 26, 27, and also 28. Okay, so basically you have we talk about finishes. This few measurement rule will apply. Is the surface too narrow? Okay, separate items. If the surface is something isolated, separate items. Is something that is applied to existing, another items. Okay, the rest will belong to one items.
And his head off and nodding his head saying, yes, that's what we do. Only 10 times. Gee, you got it cheap. Anything in a pattern or more than one colour, it's got to be done separately. That makes sense too, doesn't it? Because there's a bit of additional labour and work goes in there. The old less than 250 wide rule, we have to measure a lineal. And of course, rule number 8, measure different type or kind of finish separately. That makes a lot of sense to us because maybe they're different mixers, maybe they're different tradespeople altogether that come along and do that. So we basically set out things a little bit different. Slide 6, we've got to state the composition. When you get into things like cement render, there's a few different mixes. Remember when we talked about mortar, there was a compo, there was a cement mortar, and there was compo mortar? It's a bit like that too with cement render. The number of coats. Has anyone had anything to do with cement render? You can have 1, 2 or 3 coat render, and you can have plaster finish render. So often in a good quality job, they'll come and they'll do a rough coat render. Then they'll come back and they'll do a thin coat of render over that. That thin coat might have a steel trowel finish where it becomes very, very smooth. Or if it's in an upmarket house, they'll come back over that coat and do a plaster cement coat. And that's a 3 coat. So you've got to, obviously if you've got 1, 2 or 3 coats, there's 3 lots of more labour in a 3 coat system than there is in a 1 coat system. So you've got to separate those out. So watch out for that if you see 2 coat or 3 coat when it comes to any plaster render or plaster finish. Plaster, when someone uses the term plaster, they mean render. When they use plasterboard, they mean gyprock. Gyprock's a trade name, but originally gyprock was the predominant material. So plasterboard has always been referred to as gyprock. Treatment of the base is like I was talking about the guy chipping the wall back. That would be measured separately.
So just to take note, guys, plasterboard is actually gypsum board. Okay, so it's it's gyprock. Gyprock is a brand. Gyprock is a brand. Okay, Gyprock is a brand wood. Okay, but plastering is actually rendering. Okay, yeah. So in this case, when I say render, is actually plastering. Okay, can you see M9 here? State number, state the compositions and mix. So examples. Example of M9 is example of M9 is for example, okay, I put cement, sand, plaster, cement, sand, 1 to 4, plaster, 25 mm thick, cement, sand, plaster, to concrete or brick surface, finish smooth with a steel trowel. And wooden float. For example, you know the wooden float is a very long stick. Okay, so this plastering. So this is how you describe the compositions. Cement, sand, 1 to 4, plaster. This is the composition set. Is the thickness. Number of coats. If you never mentions, it means 1 coat. Okay, nature of base. To concrete and brick surface. This is the base. Finish smooth with steel trowel and wooden float. This is nature of finish. Is it finished smooth or finished in textured? You know, what kind of finish, nature of finish that you want. So you need to state out very clearly. Okay, so let's move on.
Get a wall back close or a floor back close to a plane that you can apply a finish to it. So on slide number 7, measurement prices deemed to include. I won't go through all of that because you guys like something to sit up in bed and read. But there's lots of bits and pieces of little things that we don't have to measure that's deemed to be included in the price. Corners and things, for instance. Apart from, in a few minutes we'll get to where we put reinforcement in the corners, we've got to measure So some of the, on slide number 8, applied finishes were on the 26.1. So these are what we would call, has anyone heard the term wet trades? Adam worked in what we call a dry trade, even though he's got that sloppy mud they put on the joints. Applied finishes are wet trades. Cement render is one. Some of the other applied finishes where they're applied with the trowel. What's that called? Granite. Some of those types of finishes are applied with a trowel. All these items apply section 26.1. So just to explain, and a lot of these descriptions in these areas are the same in every section. Walls is easy to understand, and they're in square metres. Battered walls are walls that aren't straight, they're sloping back. Walls above the roof. Often you'll find the walls up above a roof have a coating on them. Sometimes it's for a fire rating, and sometimes it's for waterproofing. So if you've got a wall above a roof, obviously it's got to be separated out because it's harder to get the materials up above the roof. You've got to allow for something. You can't just wheel a wheelbarrow up with the mud in the wheelbarrow. And parapet backs there above a roof as well. Then you get to the ceilings, sloping ceilings. Coffered are things like, I've got the photo there to show you. Sometimes there are curved area up above there, or they're just a little raised panels.
Coffer, yeah.
So that's when they say coffered. You can see coffered is a lot more work. It's smaller areas, broken into small areas, so you'd work that out. And sloping feet of stairs. Quite often under stairs, when you get the off-form concrete finish on the slope down the stair, you might see the term skim coat. On the architectural drawings, there might be a little arrow saying skim coat. What they do is they just get a very thin layer of plaster, and they run it down over, they've stripped the form, they run it down there so it just smooths it out, and it's a skim coat of plaster, white. You know, plaster Paris or stuff you played with when you were kids? Did anyone do that? Plaster fun house? Anyone go there? Yeah, Reese. My youngest son, who's now in his 30s, used to go to the plaster fun house, and he would always, everything he did, he would paint it blue and put sprinkles of glitter on it. And I kept some of them and pull them out. So this is what you used to do. Always, everything was a tiger. No matter what it was a tiger, because when he grew up, he was going to be a tiger. And it was painted blue and it had glitter sprinkles on it. And that's really funny when you bring it out and show a 30-year-old. This is what used to bring me home from the plaster fun house when you went to kids' birthday parties and stuff. His wife takes great delight in tormenting the living daylights out of him about it, because she didn't do anything silly when she was a kid. So she says. She went, poor girl, had Polish, still has got Polish parents, and used to have to go to Polish school on weekends. We think,
This
that's
is a
just cruel
power
to kids to
float.
make them go to school on weekends.
This guy he's doing power float.
So sloping feet of stairs, there's a few terms. Slide number 9, few terms.
Okay. So I just show you some photo videos of the video of the guy doing rendering. So remember the term render, it means plaster. Okay. Render is mean plaster, and just cement sand plastering to the walls, like what the guy doing is over here. Okay, you don't have to buy cement and sand and mix together. There's a pre-mix box. There's a remix package which you can purchase it. Okay. So if you have, it means if your house have rendering or plastering, and what we will do is that will be measured under at sections 26.1. The trade is called in situ applied finishes. And if for in situ applied finishes, for example, a render, we will start with walls and ceilings. And these are different items you need to measure separately because their costs are different. For example, battering walls is the sloping walls. Walls above roof or joining building because it's very high, so it's more expensive. Ceiling, slope ceiling, definitely slope ceiling more expensive than ceiling. Coffer ceiling is even more expensive than slope ceiling because there's so many edges, there's so many bumpy, it's like this. And slope surface of staircase is like this. Okay, so this is a sloping surface of staircase. This is a flewing surface of staircase. Okay, so there are two kinds. Number 8 is here, sloping surface of staircase. Number 9, flowing surface of staircase. Okay, sloping, flowing here. So if you look at these little pictures here, okay. Okay, here the narrow width. This narrow width is less than 250, will be measured separately. Likewise up here, this will be less than 250 as well. And this also narrow width less than 250. And this is measures alone, okay, in the main sections. So 1 item, 2 item for narrow width. Isolated panel like this, okay, this is another item here.
Sloping feet of stairs, it's just the ordinary sloping feet under a straight stair, but when you get a stair that goes around a corner with what we call winders, and it goes up and around the corner, that feet then is called a flewing feet, F-L-E-W-I-N-G. So feet, because it's going around a bend and up at the same time, it's pretty difficult to do. So they're always kept separate, and as are margins, and part number 10 is margins, and you can see that's borders around an inset. So you can see there's a bit more work in those two, they're not fast going. Columns and beams, we have no problems, we know all about those, don't we? Columns and beams, and that's just a picture of some columns and beams for you, because I thought you'd like to see some beams, columns. Piers are usually referred to as like an attached column, a column that's stuck onto a wall. There is a formula about the width and the depth of it, but I can't remember that. Oh, there we've got some piers on slide number 11, and some isolated beams. Isolated beams aren't attached to a slab above them. You can see those. They're in Newcastle. I can't remember what that building is, a courthouse or something, isn't it? Does anyone know that building down there in Newcastle? No. No, that's why I'm always thinking of you guys. I walked past and I said to my wife, geez, look, there's some isolated beams. Isn't that exciting? The guys in measurement 2 are just going to go off their nut when they see this. So far you've been very subdued with it. I thought there would have been cheering and hooting. But anyway, they're isolated columns, little short stumpy ones. Slide number 12, very, very rare to see. Cornices and mouldings, very rare. In around the mid-80s, we saw a little bit of it because there was a big revival coming up to the bicentenary for colonial type buildings. A lot of people restored colonial buildings. We saw a bit of it then, late 80s up to the bicentenary, and then it just sort of fizzled out again. Up to the trade of stonemasonry nearly fizzled out before the bicentenary, and then all of a sudden there was a resurgence in stonework. There's not as many stonemasons around now as there was in the late 80s, but there's still more than there were in the 70s. I remember in the 70s we had to get a stone wall built on a project. It was really, really hard to find a stonemason in Sydney because the trade had nearly died out. And these sort of mouldings and cornices done in render, in plaster, are very, very few trades that can do those, and I haven't seen many since the late 80s when the bicentenary was around. But you measure those in lineal metres and just try and describe them. We did a lot in
So just to take note, these cornices, architraves or molding, for example, this is under in situ. It means if you want to ask a worker doing this from scratch, okay, that's how this will be mentioned in these sections. But nowadays, because of want to improve productivity, so most of this molding and cornices is no longer being used by hand using cement sandblaster, but they are using factory made molding from gypsum powders or even from plastic. Okay, so if you are using plastic or gypsum powder, it's not under this section. This is using hand plaster and cement sand plastering. Okay, give me one examples of like handy work of this kind. Like something like this. Yeah, something like this. So do like very handicraft, very artistic ornament in rendering, cement sand rendering. So this is in situ apply finishes.
State Theatre. And the State Theatre in Sydney, you go in, it's always half dark. If you ever went in there and saw it in the daylight, there's the gold statues, things, and all these sort of gold cornices and mouldings. If you ever go in there when it's daylight, it's horrible workmanship. I was absolutely surprised. The statues, when you go in there in the daytime, you look at the statues and they're gold, and you think, oh, they're all right. You go in it, lights on and everything, think, oh, they're all right. When you see them in broad daylight, it looks like some kindergarten kid has made them with their hands there. They are unbelievably bad. I was totally shocked when we were doing the restoration of it, and they had pulled the part of the roof off, and the sunlight come in, and all these corners and that, they're not straight. They look like people have done it with their fingers. But in the semi-darkness and they're lit, they just look okay. So yeah, if you ever get a chance to go into one of those old theatres and have a look at the workmanship under daylight, you'll be surprised. I was absolutely shocked. I was horrified. To be honest, I thought I could have done that. Pair of rubber gloves, I could have done that. So we had to. If you go in there, you'll see there's some cornices that have got about 16 colours in them, and we had to work out, describe for the painting. I got the painting package to do. I had to work out all the painting for all these 16 different colours in the corners. It was pretty tricky, and I'm sure the painter, knowing my father-in-law, would have just come in and walked up and looked at it and going, oh yeah, I reckon I know what that's going to be, and would never have looked at the quantities or anything. The next trade is Adam's favourite trade on slide number 30. We would separate those out. Have you done any fibrous plaster work, Adam? The only plaster, those fancy cornices, but they don't use the old horsehair fibre, they use fiberglass strands. Do you do any of those? Huh? Not, you get the paper cornices, then you can buy, there's a guy down at Edgeworth makes them, and he makes the old plaster cornices, the big wide colonial jobs, and he's got about 100 different styles. And he puts, instead of putting the fibrous plaster used to have horsehair. They would have a sheet of glass, big table of glass, and they would lay all this horsehair down on it, and then they'd pour plaster over the top of it and vibrate it and shake it. And then the backside was fairly rough, but a smooth plane, and the underside was smooth because it had been cast on glass. It was reinforced with horsehair. When you picked it up, it weighed an absolute ton, like it would take two blokes to carry a sheet. A 2400 by 1200 sheet would be two blokes, and it would get nailed up onto the wall. They didn't use very many nails on it either, and when you bumped it, and it would crack the plaster, you'd always constantly have a dent there. It was didn't have any resilience or any strength to it. The cornices were made the same way, but this guy in Edgeworth makes the cornices now, and he puts fiberglass strands in there, and you can pick up a 6 metre length of cornice in the middle, and it doesn't even bend. It's strong as anything. It's pretty good. So you would separate out, if you ever come across fibrous plaster, and apart from cornices I haven't come across it for years, you would separate that out because it's a totally different trade. Adam would be able to do it, I'd say, but he'd probably need some supervision in case he went berserk with his he got one of those little hammers with axe on the back of it. Adam? No. Oh,
Okay, do you see that I am having this okay, by the way, hello guys, do you hear what I say so far? You know, seem like there's no response, there's no questions asked so far. Are you guys still there? Okay, good. Okay. Okay, thanks for responding, guys. Yeah, it's very lonely on online teaching, you know, because it seems like I'm the one who talking to the computers. Yeah, that's pretty scary. But never mind. Okay, okay, you look at this video, right? Instead of doing wet trade, which is using cement and plastering, they are using plasterboard. Okay, so plasterboard is actually gypsum board, and they actually paste it to the brick walls. You know, you look at this; it's quite interesting. So this is done. I think it's Australia or European country. I think, but not in Singapore. Singapore, we don't put the plasterboard on the brick walls. I don't know what's exactly reason, but because it could be because durability. Yeah, definitely. If you cement sand plaster, it will be more durable, and you know, plasterboard easy to damage. By the way, yeah. So look at this. It's very interesting here. Okay, so now we talk about plasterboard. Just now, section 26.1 was institute applied. Now talk about plasterboard. So you can put plasterboard on walls or ceiling, beams and columns, and you know, for example, etc.
Chris, what do you reckon about? He's not a real tradesman, is he? No, he's not a real tradesman. If you haven't got one of those little hammers with axe on the back, mate. Don't take any notice of that chippy sitting next to you, Adam. Yeah, he's the problem, yeah. So you keep fibrous plaster and plasterboard separate. Plaster tiles and those sort of things you also keep separate. Do you do any of those drop-in tile ceilings there? No, it's just straight out plasterboard. Yeah. So there's an absolutely great example. Adam's gyprocker, plasterboard fixer, and setter, I imagine. And he doesn't do fibrous plaster, and he doesn't do drop-in tile ceilings or acoustic ceilings. So you would keep those separate, because it's a separate trade. Because if you sent that bill to Adam to price, he would only price the items that he's going to do. And so you would keep all those three trades separate. What's that din going on? The Arctic's gone mental, haven't they? Someone set fire to the Ford, burnt the Mac. The Arctics are having a crying ceremony. Well, they've just realised they've wasted 6 years of their life getting a useless degree, maybe. Anyway, we won't delve into their personal problems. Well, they've got it all stacked against them, haven't they, really, to be honest? Let's face it, they've got it stacked against them. That's where I'm going to be next Monday, actually, giving a guest lecture to 120 architects. You can imagine what I'm going to say down there. Wouldn't you love to be there? I've got some things I say to rooms full of architects, it just sends the room dead quiet. My favourite thing is you're not judged by the quality of your design. You're judged by the way you communicate that design. Now, isn't that the truth? But that will send a room full of architects just poof, dead. You can see them all look down at their feet. Don't want to be there. I love that. So slide 14.
You see this Trevor, he always how to say is mocking the architect. Yeah, when you work with the architect, you know, there's a lot of problems. Yeah.
I never get to say that sort of thing to you guys, because you guys are on the other end of the stick that we use to build the architects with. So slide number 14, some fancy things like columns, pilasters, that's all these fancy things that go around there. Once again, if you come into the guy down at Edgeworth makes all this sort of gear out of the plasters with reinforced with fiberglass. He's got some fantastic things down there. So all these types of pilasters and fancy things, you describe them by metres or numbers, and the guy at Edgeworth has got a lot of this stuff. There's not many of those people around to do that now, and he's getting pretty old too. So slide number 15, cornices and mouldings. The most common cornice is a cove, 90mm cove, and you've seen that most everywhere. The yellow one is the step cornice, a 3 or 4 step cornice.
This is
They're
very
what
common.
we call paper cornice.
You know.
And if you look at them,
So they
it's
actually make in the
plasterboard,
factory.
like plaster, inside paper, and the paper is on the outside. They're different to the cornices I'm speaking about. That the two cornices, that's the cornice on the left-hand side. There's about 4 or 5 profiles that they'll do in paper cornices, in cove paper cornices, and then there's 2 or 3 stepped paper cornices, which you'll see fairly commonly used. But when you get over to the cornices on the right-hand side, they're all fibrous reinforced, they're called cast cornices or cast mouldings, and they're cast into a mould. The mould's usually a fiberglass mould, and they're cast in, and it's plaster reinforced with fiberglass. So you describe those, and you can see on the cast cornices over there on the right-hand side, you can see the little angles, and it's got 195 and 110. That means it comes 110 down the wall and 195 out from the wall, and that's how you can tell how wide they are. Some of them get up to 300 and 400 wide, and 100, 150 down the wall. So there's quite a good catalogue if you get on. Can't remember the name of the company now, but if you get on to just go on Google and search plaster cornices Edgeworth, it'll come up with their name, and you can have a look at all the different profiles. There's many profiles. When you come to an external or internal corner, an internal corner not so much. Internal corners stop with paper, but an external corner has often got a little bit of metal or sometimes plastic reinforcement in it, an angle in there. I think I've got a photo on the next page, but you've got to measure those separately in metres, because there's a bit of extra work in the internal corner and the external corner which has got the reinforcement. There we go. On slide number 17, you can see on the left-hand end there's an external corner. What would happen if you just had the plasterboard come to the corner and it was set and there was no reinforcement in there? Every time someone walked past there, they'd take a chip out of that arris on that corner. So what this metal angle does is come down, the perforated part's fixed to the wall, that's laying on its edge, that would be on a corner, would be up vertically. It's fixed to the wall, and then there's a slight little curved part out in the edge of the corner, so that forms the very edge of the arris, the corner between the two walls. So when you walk past and bump it, it doesn't do anything because you bumped the metal part. I guess if you went past and give it a mighty thump with a hammer, it'd start to pull all the perforated metal out of the plaster. The next item across is a casing bead, and there might even be a casing bead.
This is the one.
If you look, I think there is. If you look when you go out of the room, when you come around, and where a plasterboard butts into another surface, like often it's a door frame or a window frame, and you don't want to set it, they'll put another term for it is a J-mold. They'll put the casing bead over the end. It can be plastic, or they used to be metal, but they're more plastic now. It just neatens up the end. So when the class is over, have a look at some of the joints around here. You'll see just a little strip down the ends behind the columns, and that's a casing bead. If you want, sometimes a casing bead, if you haven't got it perfectly straight, your eye can pick it up. So oftentimes you'll have what's called a shadow mold, which just puts a little bit of a recess around things. So if you had a door frame, it's common to finish the plasterboard off with a shadow mold around there, which is a little like 10mm by 10mm recess. It's very hard to see that things don't line up properly when you've got that little recess between them. It can hide a multitude of sins there. So when you look at that shadow mold on the end, the little L-shaped part, the perforated part gets fixed onto the plasterboard. The little L-shaped part goes down across the end of the plasterboard and across to the door frame or the window frame. Just makes that little 10mm by 10mm recess around anything hard to pick up if it's just a little bit out of whack. Hides a few little sins. Slide 18. Some of the other things we've got is arches and domes, and once again, I suggest you jump onto that guy down at Edgeworth and have a look at all his YouTube stuff. It'll make you want to go home and decorate your bit. your bedroom with all these lovely things, bunches of grapes and all sorts of stuff you can get. Don't do any of that sort of work, Adam, mate. I got a little bit carried away when I renovated our place, and I picked out all sorts of things like cupids and bunches of grapes and all sorts of stuff, but my wife put the kibosh on the lot. Stifled my creativity, if you like. But I took notice of it because the last fight we had was about 20 years ago, and we're picking a new kitchen, and we're in the kitchen showroom, and I wanted this red composite resin benchtop, bright red with glittery bits in it and sparkles. I thought that'd look really classy, and she said no, and I said, you can't say that. That's what I really want. And so there was almost a fight. That was the last fight we had, which was about 20 years ago. But my method of not fighting with your partner is simple. You say, I'm gonna go 1 out of 10. I have 1 out of 10 times is when I'm gonna really stand my ground. I'm gonna dig in, and that's gonna be the fight to the death. And so you let it go. You let 9 things go by. When you get to the 10th time, you say, now, before I fight to the death here, is this a fight I'm going to win, or is it going to be my death? If it's not going to be a fight you're going to win, just start the count all over again. And so we haven't had a fight for about 20 years because I haven't had one I'm going to win, because I used to, in the business, I used to deal with all the architects. It's annoying, yeah. So when you've got what we call a chase, where you've got a masonry wall and we cut a groove down it, we call that a chase. And there's people, believe it or not, their whole job in life is just to chase walls. And they have this machine. Have you been on a site where there's a chaser, Reece? Yeah, but there are people around. If you do a big job, a big building, and there's a lot of chasing for electrical conduits or pipes, the electrician will often get a chaser to come in. And they have this machine, and it just makes all the noise in the world. And it cuts 2 grooves and chisels out the brickwork and the masonry out of there. What Reece said, there's a lot of guys just get the quick cut, which is like a chainsaw motor with a big masonry disc on it. And it runs with water down it as well, and they'll run that 2 cuts down the wall, then just chisel it out. But if you've got a lot of chasing to do, there's people around that just do chasing. I think it would be a horrible job. And they just get in there and they just chase these grooves out. Well, once I've chased the wall out, the electrician's come and he's put conduit in there. And what the electrician will often do is in the mortar joint, he'll he'll bash a nail and bend it across the conduit from falling out. But we need then to be able to render that wall. And they fix this metal lathing across, and that's what the render. Where you've got a brick wall and it's got an angled lintel, and you want to render the wall, the render won't stick to the metal, the galvanised metal lintel, so you'll put a bit of that metal lathing over top of the lintel and fix it to the brickwork above, below, and around the lintel, and then you'll render over that, and the render sticks to it really well. So that's what metal lathing is. You don't come across it very often, but when you get into full masonry construction, although a lot of places now, like all the nursing homes we do now, we go to stick to brick plasterboard. So we do brick walls, but we stick plasterboard. Do you do any of that, Adam? Yeah. And you put dots of adhesive on the brick wall and just stick the plasterboard onto the brick wall. It's actually a better finish. And if there's the plasterboard doesn't the same as render can get hairline cracks in it, things like that, but the plasterboard doesn't. So it's a better finish. In that case, you don't need the metal lathing either, because you're not going to render over it. So it's called stick to brick. If you hear that, if you hear someone say, "Oh yeah, we're going to use stick to brick," what that is sheets of plasterboard. It's just glued onto the face of the brick walls or block walls. The joints are still set the same way, but that's how it's fixed. Tiling, on slide number 20, tiling slabs and paving. This is what, well, we know what tiling is, I think. No, it's carpet is the funny one. When we get to carpet, I'll try and remember. But carpet, the first item in the classification table for carpet is ceilings and walls. And then floors comes after that. You think, surely the first place you think of carpet and vinyl is on floors, not ceilings and walls. But, the AIQS guys, not all fully switched on, are they? They probably lock themselves in rooms, smoke cigars, go a bit stranger. So section 27, we've got our same, you can see it's the same preambles. You can see the first line is identical, second line's identical except till you get up to the end where you say the particular tray, and items are given for samples, any special models. So some of the rules, you measure the area to be covered as on slide 21. External internal work separately. It's pretty much the same set of rules as plasterboard. Existing surfaces, once again, measured separately because of the preparation you might have to do, and small areas are once again a little bit more time consuming to do an area less than a square metre, and so you measure that separately. Slide 22, any work in a pattern. So for instance, if you've got a tiled floor and it's got a pattern in it, you have to measure that separately because it takes a bit more effort to set out the pattern and work to the pattern. More than one colour, I've got some photos coming up showing that sort of thing. There was a huge big, in the area that I like to work in, which is nursing homes, there was a huge big idea of architects would put patterns, geometric patterns in the carpet and the vinyl down the corridors. And what they found is the oldies, when their sight's starting to go, when they come along and see it goes from a light colour to a dark colour or a lighter colour to a darker colour, they perceive that to be a step. And if you go to any of those nursing homes, it looks really funny, I reckon, because you see the oldies shuffling along and you see them stop and then they go down this step that's not there, it's just a different colour in the floor plan, and they shuffle along to the next change, and then they go and they perceive it. I had my cataracts done about 2 years ago, and up until that stage I was getting the same. When I'd come along to two different changes in colour in a floor, I'd have to stop and check whether it was a step or changes in colour. So I understand how they are, but it looks really funny when you see them walking down a long corridor, when they're walking from down, whoops, stop, is this a step? No, and off they go. So just watch out for that if you've got an inexperienced architect working on a nursing home job and he or she's got coloured bands in the floor, in the carpet. Just say, oh, wait a minute, won't the oldies perceive that as a step? And they really do. Narrow widths, again, rule number 6, anything less than 250. We know the 250 rule off by heart. You guys have lived with that for the last year, haven't you, really? 250 rule. Different kinds of finishes on slide 23, of course. Different kinds of finishes we measure separately because there might be different material costs in them. And treatment of the base. Sometimes the base has got to have waterproofing on it. Sometimes it's got to be hacked back or sparrow picked. Hacking back means you're chopping something off the top of the concrete. Sparrow picking is has anyone seen where there's just someone's just got like a little scotch hammer or something and gone chunk, 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 chunk all over it, and there's little bits just chipped out of it here and there. That's to give the new bedding a key. Slide 24 is measurement and pricing. We won't read that, it's just little bits and pieces. You guys can read that at home. And here we go, we start on walls and ceilings. Once again, I would have thought tiling and paving wouldn't start with walls and ceilings. I thought it would start with floors because that's where most of it would occur. But for some reason, we start with walls, ceilings, columns, piers and beams, and that's the order that we would measure it. That's the order that, although you've only got to pick a couple of items, that's the order that I can't remember what items I've picked. But for instance, if I've got tiling, and I've said you're going to have tiled splashbacks, and you have tiled floors, you can see there that the walls, the splashbacks will be on the walls, they'll come before the floors, which is back to front, in my view, but that's the way the method goes. You can see there's item 5 on slide 26 is floors. So when you measure your tiles, if I've got splashbacks and I've got floor tiles,
okay, just take note here, guys. You see here, walls. Okay, walls here, it can be wall tiles. Okay, so for example, if your walls, they plaster or render the wall first and they tile over it, so the render or plaster will be calculated under section 26, and 27 is only purely for tiling. Okay, and for example, for ceiling, style for ceiling is not very commonly seen, but they do have in some places like malls, or like those churches, they have very beautiful tiles on the ceiling. Okay. Okay, let's move on here.
To measure in the assignment, I honestly can't remember. Remember that the splashbacks are on the walls, I'll come first. And second will come the floors. The floors have been broken up. I think your floors are all just laid flat. But remember, floors, if they're laid to a slope, if they're laid flat and stuck, easily fixed onto the concrete slab, or whether they're laid to falls and cross falls. Remember that from, when did we do that? In concrete, I think. That's like the floor in a shower, where it all runs to one point. That's called falls and cross falls. And you've got to measure that separately. Say it in there. Yeah, item number 2, falls and cross falls. Slopes less than 15 and slopes greater than 15 degrees. So often on a balcony, you'll have a slope that's less than 15 and you'd measure that separately. In a kitchen, for instance, on the floor where it's just stuck straight down onto the floor surface, it's just laid flat. And then in a bathroom where it's laid to falls and cross falls to floorways, you've got that. So in a house, you can have the 3 types of tiling. Same, could even be the same tile, but it's 3 different ways, 3 different types of labour involved in laying those sorts of tiles. So just remember that. Then we got some raked and curved cutting, and there's some nice examples I've got for some curved cutting and some rake cutting. Rake cutting and curved cutting, it's extra labour, but it's also extra material, because you can see they've chopped the ends and there's some chuckaways on the ends of those tiles that have been cut off. So you've got to measure that separately so the builder can work out the waste and the additional labour. You've got, once again, staircases, and we know what we're going to have with the staircases. I think I've got on the next slide some photos here. We've got the tread and the riser, and this stair's actually got a metal nosing on it. And you can often see those on steps in the building, and they'll fix a metal nosing, and it's often got a carborundum strip in it, but make it non-slip. If you go to my local station at Burstfield, when you walk up, they all rattle. You can hear people coming up and down the stairs because they're just being screwed on, and the screws have all come loose, so all the metal nosings rattle when you walk up and down. So you can't sneak up on anyone, I guess, at the station. And when you get onto like a spiral stair or a curved stair, they're called winders. And a winder, the difference between a winder and an ordinary tread is a winder will be narrower at one end than the other. And it'll come up and around the corner. So you can see that sample there I've got of winders, very flash. You can see on the left-hand end, they're a narrower tread than on the right-hand end because they're winding up around the curve. Now underneath, remember back to the plaster, underneath that soffit there would be called a fluid soffit because it's going up and around. She's still going with that. This has got to be the longest song. She'll never get into Eurovision with it, I don't think. But did anyone watch Eurovision the other week? First year I've missed it for about 20 years. I've given up on Eurovision. They don't take it serious enough. I used to like it when the Europeans took it really seriously, and it was so corny. We used to have all these games at home. With it, if you had the trifecta was the wind machine. If you had the wind machine, a key change, and a costume change in the one song, that was the trifecta. And that's what we all used to try. And the whole family would come around. We'd bet on who was going to have the trifecta in the song. We'd all get given a country each. And if your country won, you would get a phrase book from in that country's language. So the year Azerbaijan won, my daughter got an Azerbaijani phrase book, which she's never going to use in her life. So yeah, that's what we used to do. And then you'd bet on who was going to get the trifecta, which country was going to get the trifecta. So you wanted a costume change, a key change, and the wind machine, all in the one song. That was the trifecta, and you won a prize for that. Yeah. So, but now they've lost all their sort of, One year they had, I think it was Poland, and they had all these women, and they had really low top, big-breasted women with really low top things, pretending to churn butter on the stage. And another year, I think it was Lithuania, or hanging clothes out on a clothesline. They brought live chickens on the stage and let them loose. All that good stuff's all gone. They take it too serious now. Anyway, slide number 30. Skirtings we measure separately, raked and vertical. Often if you do a commercial cool room or you do a commercial kitchen, it'll have a cove cornice, and that's...
So just make sure you don't sleep, okay? Okay. Here, if you have to see your assignment requirement, you have the area of an alternative set, plasterboard ceiling. So plasterboard ceiling is under section 26.2 in L1, L2, and L6 using furring channel suspended from the concrete surface and the length of the perimeter for a folded metal shadow line trim equal to here. Okay, so you have plasterboard ceiling and shadow line trim. So there are two items here. So you have plasterboard ceiling, and here this is a meter run, this is a meter square. Okay, you have okay, now you got tilings. An alternative ceramic tile splashback. Splashback is actually it's in the wall. Okay, this is a wall tiles. Splashback mean is they tile on the wall so to prevent the water to splash on it. Okay, to protect the wall instead of doing plastering. So ceramic tile splashback, high above practical activity bench in G13 and G19. So this is ceramic tile walls. Okay, so ceramic tile walls is under section 27, and for the first section this is under walls here. Right, and the next item we're talking about is ceramic tile skirting. Okay, skirting. So this is skirting. This is item skirting here. Here you go. So you need to state the thickness, the height, the radius of any curve at the junctions, or etc. Okay. You have carpet division strip. This will be under the next vinyl floor as well. And the last one, you have granulithic topping to staircase treads and riser. Okay, so this granulithic toppings is also under section 27. It's under paving.
Cove cornice, so you have to measure that separately as well, cove tile cornice. You also have to measure when you get to cornices. It's good to measure the miters on the external cornice as well, because they have to be cut. If it's a coved cornice, the miter has to be cut. Here we are. Here's a nice entry. These are called flush bands, where it's a different tile, but it's set into the same surface. And they also got to be measured separately because there's a fair bit of extra cutting and big bit of extra work to set them out. So they're flush bands, if you hear that term. You can have flush bands in brickwork and in carpet as well as in tiling. Flush bands was in carpet, and vinyl was the big thing that when I was talking about with old people in the nursing homes will think it's a step. Flush panels, you can see these were the go. They might still be. I haven't been into a display home for a few years, but these are all the go in display homes. For a while, they'd put this flush panel up in the bathroom, and of a contrasting type of tile. They're called flush panels, and there also you can see there's a little bit of extra work to set them out to do those separately. So you have to measure them separately. Edges on slide number 33. You can buy special or tread edges, which is the ones with the grooves, or these pencil rounds, we call them, in the tiles. Years ago when I started in the industry, there weren't those edges you could buy, and you had to order the tiles with pencil rounds. So you can see in that far right corner, some are pencil round on one edge and some are pencil round on two edges. And you had to work all that out, measure it to start with, to know how many of which tile to order. Coves and cappings, all the many different types of tiles, we give those in lineal metres, try and describe them, the width of them, and describe those and give those in lineal metres. I don't think there's any of those in our job. That's slide 34. Fittings, we don't see very much on slide 35. All bathrooms used to have built-in ceramic soap dishes and toilet paper holders and towel rail ends. But Now they're more plastic or metal that you buy and screw on the wall. But just watch out for those. If you do some sort of some high-end places will still have built-in ceramic fittings. Matte sinkings, look out for them. They're ultra expensive. Does anyone notice when you go particularly into a commercial building, you come in and the mat is set down level with the surface finish on the outside? Often it's an aluminium or brass surround around it and the mat's set down level. Those mats and the mat sinkings are worth about $1,200 a square metre, so don't ever miss one of those. They're more expensive than the marble finish that surrounds them usually when you go into some of the bigger buildings. They're set down level, they're called sinkings, because they're set down level with the surface finish so there's not a trip hazard. So there's a lot of public buildings. When you go into one, just have a look and think, wow, I'm walking on a mat that is worth far, far more than marble or granite flooring. So just, it doesn't look like it. Terrazzo thresholds on slide 37. Has anyone seen those at Nana's place or anywhere? It's made of chips of marble set into a mortar that's coloured and then ground and polished. Used to be in the 50s and 60s in Australia. I think every house built had one as its front doorstep. And you'll see them in old places. I think Westfields now, some of the Westfields have terrazzo tile flooring, highly polished terrazzo tile flooring throughout some of the shopping centres. But it's white marble chips, usually white marble chips, set into a coloured mortar and then it's polished. Have a look for those. Toilet petitions, often you can see them in toilet petitions as well. Around the edges, on slide number 38, and on the stair nosings, there's different strips that you can have and you measure those in linear metres, division strips. Between two different surface finishes around tiling, the border of tiling where it comes to a free edge and it's got a different surface finish, there's always a division strip. So where you've got a doorway, goes tiles one side in the bathroom, carpet on the other side, there'll be a division strip. Tiles to vinyl will also be a division strip. So slide 39, carpet and resilient finishes. We've got the same preambles except on item 2, we changed to carpet or resilient finishes, and we give items for samples. So that you need to have these preambles for every one of your trades. So if you've got carpet and resilient finishes, you've got to measure 2 trades. There's one for carpet and one for vinyl or resilient. Vinyl is resilient finishes. So remember, there's 2 trades there. There might only be one item in each trade, but you still have to have the preambles. So please don't forget that. Slide number 40. We're nearly at the end, guys. We've been very patient in our last week.
Okay, guys, I hope you're still following. Okay, now we are on section 28. We have carpet and resilient finishes. Resilient finishes of vinyl floor or vinyl tiles is very trendy nowadays. It can look like timber floor, but in fact it's vinyl, or it's some kind of a plastic. Okay. So if you have carpet and vinyl flooring, in fact they belong to two different sections. Okay, and the measurement rule is similar to before, okay, to the previous one. So we go back to your assignment. You also have the carpet here. Okay, so this is under 28. Vinyl floor here as well. Okay, granulated topping to staircase risers. This is under 27. Okay.
The rules are the same. Measure the area to be covered. External and internal areas separate. The work to existing surfaces, that's the same again. Less than 1 square metre because of the labour factor involved, same. Describe work in a pattern or more than 1 colour, of course that's the same. Slide 41. narrow widths, or I call narrow widths is the old term for it, less than 250. In the old days, narrow widths were less than 100, less than 200 and less than 300. We have to measure them in three different widths. And you'll find still I do that in things like painting. Because if you're doing a 50mm architrave around a door, I will measure that as less than 100 wide, because it irks me that the painter's going to get paid for a 250 wide thing. So I'll still break that up a little bit sometimes. And you can do that. Different types of finishes is rule number 7, and rule number 8 is the same treatment of the base. So that's whatever the base is that we're going to be sticking our carpet down to, or our resilient finishes. Sometimes, has anyone heard the term ardent? We're going to ardent that. It's a flowing grout. I've got some photos of it, and it's fairly expensive. I thought it looked really easy to do, so I decided I would ardent my back veranda at a house I lived at before I tiled it. It was a wood float veranda, and it had a few little dips in it. So I thought, I'm going to ardent this. It's easy, and it's not. it's not as easy as it looks. So if you decide you're going to ardent something, it's probably to end up doing what I do, grind it all off, and get a concreter to come in and do it for you. It comes in a drum, you tip it on, and you think all you got to do is tip it on and smooth that out. No, it's got a mind of its own, that stuff. And it's not as easy to do as it looks. The experts come along and make it look super, super easy to do. Measurement and price is deemed to include vacuuming or mopping on completion, so that's cleaning it up when it's finished, and protecting and masking the surfaces. That will be an argument on site often. Carpet and vinyl often cause a lot of arguments, because what will happen, for instance, is the guys will get a contract, they'll come through and they'll do the carpet and the vinyl, then other trades will come through with either muddy boots, or they'll come in and cut a hole in something and they don't clean up after. And the guys that have done the carpet or the vinyl will lay it and clean it, sweep it or vacuum it, and leave it there, and then someone else will come in, walk over it with muddy boots, painter will walk around and drop something on it, someone will come and drill a hole in something and not clean it up, and there's always arguments about that. So look out with carpet and resilient finishes. Here we go. The first place we're going to put carpet on slide 43 is walls and ceilings. Then we're going to do columns. Then we're going to do piers, all places where we'd never think to put carpet. And then we're going to put it on beams, and then over the page on item 5 we're going to put it on the floor. So I would have thought the default for carpet and vinyl would be the floor. We do a lot of vinyl on the walls in nursing homes. We do a lot of vinyl up in the corridors up 900, and in the bathrooms we do, instead of ceramic tiles on the walls, we do a lot of vinyl. So there we have on slide 44, carpet and vinyl on the floors. And once again, we've got horizontal, falls and cross falls, and laid the two different slopes, less than 15 and greater than 15 degrees. Falls and cross falls is a difficult one when you've got vinyl, to lay vinyl floor. Prepare the existing surfaces on slide 45. You're measuring square metres. So if you're going in and you've got to prepare an existing surface, you've got to measure that separately, because there's a little bit of work in that. Hardboard underlay on slide 46. Often if you've got an existing surface, or even a new surface, you'll put hardboard underlay over the surface before you lay the carpet or the vinyl. Has anyone heard of that? Hardboard underlay? It's like masonite. Just lay it over there, and it's I walk into an older house, and when you walk on the carpet you can feel the floorboards underneath, the shape of the floorboards. If there's hardboard underlay over that, you don't get that feeling. It's all very smooth. Here's the famous ardent levelling compound. See, this guy is making it look easy. You just tip it out of the bucket, then you smooth it over with a steel trowel. Oh yeah, it's not that easy. And the stuff goes off fast too. So, when you think, oh, I only need about another hour to get this smooth, the rate I'm going, it goes off. So, yep, I've ground a fair bit of that stuff off. So slide 47. So what that is, and you can get it in different grades of runniness, I guess. So you might come to a building that you're doing renovations in, and when you make a doorway, for instance, in a wall, the floor on the other side is quite common. The floor on the other side might be 20 mil difference in height because they're in two separate rooms before, and the building could have been built by add-ons, like commercial buildings in particular. So you'll knock a hole in the wall to make a door when you change the configuration of the walls, and you'll find the floor in the other room on the other side of the wall is slightly different height. So you'll get this levelling compound and it's called feathering, and you'll make a ramp down from a 20 mil high difference. You might ramp down about a metre, and you'll feather it out around the wall so it sort of gradually raises up. You can feel it when you walk, and sometimes if you're walking through an older building that's been renovated, you'll notice a slight difference in floor as you walk. You're a little bit uphill, and you could say to your friends then when you walk through that, probably an art gallery or something, where you hang out on weekends, you guys.
This is leveling compound. It's very thin layer, thin liquid to raise the level.
Wow, this university.
Before you add in the carpet or the vinyl.
So that's called feathering, where you come from a ramp and you ramp it down, you smooth it down to nothing. So it might build up from 20 or 30 mil down to nothing. It's called feathering. Around the edge of the carpet, you've got to have, and the carpet layers have got a name for these, I just can't remember it. Gripper strips or something like that, they call them. You've got to watch them, the carpet layers too. When carpet comes in when everything's finished, but you've got to watch the young blokes, because as they're nailing down around the skirtings, they'll nail down this little strip of plywood with all these little nails sticking out of it. Has anyone seen that? And when the young blokes come in and do it, they're not real accurate with the hammer, and they graze down the front of the skirting. And you come into the room and you'll see little marks down the front of the skirting where they've accidentally belted the front of the skirting with their hammer. So you've got to watch that with the carpet layers. Watch them like a hawk in case they accidentally graze the skirting, because they won't say anything about it, they'll bolt. And then they'll deny doing it, saying, well, no one else has been nailing grip strips down for the carpet but you. And they say, oh no, someone must have done that. So watch them when you do that, when they're laying carpet, because everything's finished. The metal trims go around the edge of the carpet, where there's a free edge of the carpet. With the metal strips will go around, and also around the perimeters there's a strip that we don't have to measure, but you have to measure these strips at doorways and things like that where there's a free edge of the carpet. Also too, if you're coving up vinyl, it's quite often coved up the wall. And I thought it was on this slide. We've got staircases. We know treads and rises where we've got carpet and vinyl on treads and rises, all the different parts of the stair. That's the slide I thought I was getting to on slide 50. Where you've got a cove skirting in vinyl, you'll often have a fillet that goes in the edge around the corner to stop that square edge and the vinyl cracking into that square edge, so it just reinforces that curve in the skirting where it turns up the wall. So you've got to measure that as well. The flush bands in the carpet, this is what sends the old people off their nut in the nursing homes, where you get all these sorts of patterns set into the carpet. These are pretty radical ones, but they're just different colours set in at the same level. You've got to measure those separately. Self edges, often you'll find, particularly if you've got a large commercial client and they want, you can get carpet specially made for your project. Like you can order carpet specially made. Like people might want a company colour or a company pattern or even a company logo sometimes woven into their carpet. They'll often ask for a self edge, and that's a special edge on the carpet for when it's laid. So that's what that means. You've got to measure that separately by metres. Usually fairly high-end places to go for that. Slide 53, I think, is our last slide, and that's vinyl skirtings. And you can get coved or just flat. Here they're coved. In this room they're coved vinyl skirtings, I think. And they're just stuck onto the wall. And the bottom of them has just got a little bit of a kick out for cove, but often you'll see the cheap ones as just flat. So that's it. Has anyone got any questions? That's great.
Okay, any questions, guys? Okay, shall we have 15 minutes to 20 minutes break? Then when we come back, I will give you some illustrations, okay, on what you should do for on the BOQ for your assignment 3. Okay. Do you have any questions for me for assignment 3 so far? Any questions, guy? Are y'all falling asleep? So, guy, next week will be the last week. Be the last week, okay? Only Q&A sessions. So please try your assignment 3 early. So if you have any questions, you can ask next week. We have ample of time. Because after next week, then if you have any questions, you can have to email to Trevor or myself, or you can post on the discussion forum. Sorry, keep talking without the mic on. Okay, hello guys. Sorry. Okay, how is any questions for me so far? Yeah, Edgar, you have any question for the roofing? Yes, any questions for the roofing? Which part of the roofing you want to ask me? Because I want to have yeah, you have a quick questions because I want to do some illustrations of how to do this BOQ. Yeah, you can have question for roofing. Go ahead. Okay, now until 5 o'clock we all have Q&A sessions. Yeah, then I'll have some quick demonstration how to do finishes as well. Any question for roofing? Edgar, you say you have question for roofing? FC wall sheeting. Oh, wall sheeting is a wall covering. It's a wall covering. Let's see. What's FC mean? What's FC mean? Let's see. Type of sheeting, wall sheeting. Wall sheeting. No ridge capping. So there is no ridge. What do you mean by area of wall sheeting? There is no ridge capping, but only metal capping and batch capping on drawing. Not sure where does metal capping fall under. Oh, metal capping fall under. Let's see. Let me open up the drawing first. Okay. Okay, so the first question is, what do you mean by areas of FC wall sheeting? Okay, wall sheeting. Let me see. Sky tube. Yeah, this is roof sheeting. Wall sheeting you can see on the wall. Usually the same of, okay, the wall sheeting is basically is the same of the roof sheeting, but it's the same. Let's say you're looking for Lysac, Colorbond, or something like that. It go exactly the same. It just instead of the roof, it will go onto the walls. So if you want to go to the wall, you need to see the elevations. Yeah, here you are. Okay. Sky tube, pre-finished corrugated metal roof sheeting. Yeah, this is still on the roof. Okay, where's the wall? I need the elevations. Okay, this side here, FC. Okay, this is FC. You see this FC? This is FC here. Okay, so what is FC? You need to find what is FC. FC is fiber cement. Okay, FC wall sheeting is fiber cement. So FC stand for fiber cement. Okay, so fiber cement wall sheeting. So basically, it's this one. So you need, when you describe the wall sheeting, you need to describe as a fiber cement. Okay. Let me see your assignment requirement. You have roof sheeting and FC wall sheeting. Also, the roof sheeting is corrugated. I think color bond metal sheeting. FC wall sheeting is here. Okay, you see that FC is here. So this is the area of the FC wall sheeting for these elevations. And how about here? Oh, this is FB. What is FB? FB stand for face brick. Okay, so there's no face brick here. As this is not the wall sheeting. Okay, this is FB. So this is only what we have about FC here. Okay, so this is the front. This is the west elevation. Let me see the east elevations. East elevation, this is FB. So this is facing brick, face brick. This is FC. This is fiber cement here. This is face brick. Let me see here as well. You see this is FB. This is his face brick. Okay, then this is what else? This is FC. Alright. So look at the elevations. And measures area of wall marked with FC. Okay, that is wall. That is FC wall shading. Any questions? Okay, second questions. Second question is there is no bridge capping but only metal capping and barge capping on drawings. Not sure where does metal capping fall under. Okay, so what's the questions? They're looking for barge and ridge capping. Oh, very easy. Then you ask yourself where is the ridge. Okay, second question. Identify where is the ridge. And if it's a metal capping, that is at the ridge, so that would be the ridge capping. Okay, so basically ridge. Okay, so the ridge of the roof is the highest point. That is where the roof direction will turn. Okay, so you look at the roof plan. Okay, so you look at the roof plan here. Okay, so this is the sections. So basically here the roof is laying down like this. And here the section 2 is like this. Section 1 is like this. Oh, I think this roof there's no ridge. There's no ridge for this roof. Let me see. Let me double check again. Because the ridge is where the direction end, the bend, it had to bend, So this is the falling 5 degree here. So it's let me see the sections. You're looking on which roof? This roof, right? This is a flat roof. No, sorry, it is a sloping roof all the way. There's no ridge. This one there's no ridge. Yeah. But if you consider ridge is okay lah, you can consider this is a ridge long, since it's the highest point. Because it's not bended lah. So if they're asking for ridge, then maybe you say this is ridge. Actually it's the same lah. It's a metal capping is around here. Okay. So if you say ridge capping, then you say this is ridge capping, the highest point, and barge capping is on the side. Remember, barge is always at the side of the gable end. If they really want to split into two, barge and ridge capping, so you can call this is ridge, okay, and this is barge. Okay, are you clear? Likewise here, you can call this is a ridge, You know, you just say this is a because usually the roof it will be like, you know, up and down, but this is only one directions. So we take the highest point is a ridge, and the one that parallel to the cable end is a batch. Okay, so here will be the batch, here will be the ridge. Okay, any issue? Of course, here will have this will be the gutter lah. Huh? Any more issue? Oh, question 2 is okay. You okay? Question 2. Okay, then so there's actually the ridge capping and the batch capping, they are the same types. Both of them are metal capping. You can see the detail section to see the sizes for you to describe. But because of their location, so we can call the highest point is the ridge, and the one that at the gable end wall is the batch. What do you mean by ancillaries? Okay, ancillaries. Ancillaries. Okay, good questions. Flashings, if gutters and ancillaries. Let me see what is ancillary. We go to the roof first. Okay, I know what's ancillary. Ancillary means something related lah, something related to the gutter. Maybe are they talking about the downpipes? Wait, give me a second. I want to open the roofing. So gutter here. Oh, okay. They say ancillary, right? It's mean if you have the eave gutter, box gutter, and if you have like, you know, if you have stop end expansion joint or downpipes outlets, you know, so you can measure together lah. I think in this case you got a downpipes. You see the word DP, right? The DP? Yeah, this is the downpipes. So this is the gutter. This whole gang is gutter, and this is the ancillary of the gutter. Understand? Yeah. This is the main. This 1, 2, 3 are if box valley. All these are main gutter, and these are the rest are ancillary measured in number. How many downpipes outlet? How many overflow outlet? How many sum? How many stop end? How many expansion joint? Blah blah lah. But in this case, I can tell you straight away you can do downpipes because straight away you can see lah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this side. Are you clear on these few questions? Okay, can okay, now I'm gonna move on. Any more questions for this roof? Others? Okay, someone asking me some questions. Wait, I'm gonna ask. Okay. Any questions, others on this? Okay, can I give you some demonstrations of how to do the finishes? Okay. Okay, the finishes I'm referring here is sections 26. Okay, you can ignore suspended ceiling. Okay, so basically we have here. Remember, I tell you plasterboard is under section 26.2, tile under 27, carpet under 28, vinyl under 28, granite topping is under 20. I think it's under 27 as well. This is some sort of paving. Okay, so let me give you example of let's say plasterboard ceiling, for example. So let me open the So basically you have 5 trades, I think 5 or 6 trades, 5 trades I think. Okay, I create one new, I believe you have gone to this qubit and remember how to play with it. Okay, I'm going to create a new job called week 12. Okay, week 12 finishes, full-time students. Okay. The challenging is because these finishes, they don't have any examples. So it could be a little bit more difficult for you to describe. So you may need to go to the internet to search for the descriptions. Okay, so for example, if I want to do this, for examples, plasterboard, okay? Let's say I want to do plasterboard. So I'm going to have one section called plasterboard here. And of course, we will have generally, this is the preambles. And the preambles for the plasterboard is under, what did that? Just now our course materials. Plasterboard. Here you are. Okay, they got the same sections with here. Okay. Apply finishes rendering. Refer to introductions, general rules and recommendation. Refer to relevant specification containing particulars of plastering. Okay, so you are talking about plasterboard, right? Yeah. Terrazole, paving and plastering. Refer to introduction, general rules and recommendation. Refer to introduction, general rule and recommendations. Okay, and refer to relevant spec sections containing particular terrazole, paving and plastering. Refer to relevant specification sections containing. Refer to relevant specification section containing particulars of terrazole, paving and plastering. Refer to particular sections of specification. Refer to relevant specification section. I can't remember. Refer to relevant specification section containing particulars of terrazzo paving and plastering. Particulars of terrazzo paving and plastering. Plastering. Okay. Next item is item will be given for the provision of samples or special model. Okay. Provide sample or special model. Okay. So this is note item. Okay. So this is item. You don't put, no need to say provide item for. Okay, just say provide sample or special model. Okay, and this will be the preambles. So you can put inside here and like this. Okay. Okay, then next one you put plasterboard again. And then you refer to these items. What do they want? Alternative set plasterboard ceiling in L1, L2, and L6 using furring channels suspended from the concrete surface. Okay. Okay, so plasterboard ceiling. Plasterboard ceiling, you need to describe how many thick. Okay, so I say 12 mm thick plasterboard ceiling using furring channels suspended from the concrete. To furring channel suspended from the concrete soffit. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so this is something like this. Okay, and you want to put in L1, L2, and L6 also can specify in L1, L2, and L6. Okay. Folded metal shadow light trim. Folded metal shadow light trim. Equal to Rondo P50. P50. Okay, yeah. This is my plasterboard ceiling. Okay, this is the trimming around it. So inside here in this SMM6 finishes, so basically it belongs to this sections. Plasterboard here, ceiling. Okay, they say ceiling here, so you must check the required. Okay, state the thickness and kind of sheet, method of fixing and jointing, spacings and method of securing supporting timber, metalwork, the length of the hangers. Okay, let me give some example of what you can write. Okay, so you must tell me what is the thickness, kind of sheet or tiles. Okay, plasterboard thickness is 10. Method of fixing and jointing. Okay, method of fixing and jointing is Okay, so we can say, just now I say, right, thickness, gypsum, plasterboard, okay? Gypsum, what kind of material, what kind of gypsum, plasterboard, ceiling, fixed 2 4-inch suspended from concrete sulfate, okay? Jointing, uh, with flush, with bib reinforced, flush joint, for example, okay? Yeah. And finish with skim coat, with jointing compound, okay? Gypsum plasterboard ceiling fixed to furring channel suspended from the concrete soffit. Okay, this one you can put at the last one. This is the locations. Jointing is mean, the board, how do they join together, okay? And jointing compound, okay. So something like this. So basically you need to do some creation, thickness, method of fixing, jointing, secure to there, name of the structure, timber, metalwork, givings, directions, rope without support timber. Okay, good enough. Okay. So next will be, you talk about molding, right? Trimming, metal trim here. So this is number 6, metal trim in meter, external angle, internal angle, setting the size. Okay. Folded metal shadow line trim to perimeter of above of ceiling in LO1, LO2, and LO6. Okay, so this is example of what we do. This is for the first trait. Second trait is here. All right, so, and this will be the result here. Will be in area, okay, and this will be the length. Okay, so basically this is the main area, this is the length. So you can draw the same shape, but this is you take, you can select both and then just draw. The length will come here and then the area will come here. Okay, for the this one. Okay, so let's say we try another trait. Okay, let's try another trait here. Okay, so we got another trait called, for example, granulithic toppings here. Carpet, okay, let's say carpet, or granule toppings. Okay, so how do you find the descriptions? So you need to do some creation, okay? Do some search online and to find the specifications. Is there a specification given in your assignment 3? If no, then you have to go and do some researching, okay? Okay, let's try another trait. So the plasterboard is one trait here. Let me see. Ceramic tile is 1 trade, 1 trade, 2 trade, 3 trade, 4, 5 trades. Okay, let's talk about granule topping. Okay, so granule topping you can put as a granule. You can paving, local paving, or granule topping. And organic paving. So the same thing, we also have the same thing here. We need to do the preamble. Generally as well. So generally is we need to go back to here for granule. Granule under sections 27. Yeah. Paving. Actually granule is under paving. You can put paving also, okay? Okay, paving. Generally refer to introduction, general rules and recommendation. Okay, so this is the same. Refer to relevant specification, paving and tiling. Paving and tiling. Okay. Actually, this one, they already talk about plastering. I think you can just amend it accordingly. Okay, because we already never talk about paving. So you can amend it. Plastering. This is particular paving. There's no tiling here. Okay. Yeah. Tiling is another section. Paving is here. Okay. Then you have sample or special model. Provision for provide sample of granule thick paving. Okay. Okay, you can put here like a plasterboard here, put one of paving here. Okay, then now you talk about granulithic topping. Okay, so what is granulithic toppings? Granulithic topping is like cement Sanskrit. Okay, let me show you. Okay, this is granule finish. It looks like cement Sanskrit, but it's mixed with stone, so it's a bit rough. Okay, so it looks something like this. Okay, so this is granulithic floor finish here. Okay, so basically they are mixing with the stone. You can see this at the bus stop, okay? Very common, and a lot of bus stop have this granule. So, okay, then you search for how to mix granulithic. What is, okay? So what is composition? Basically cement sandstone. Then they just paste on the floor, so it's cement Sanskrit, but they add in the stone. Okay. Okay. Granule is sometimes we call it granulithic screed. Also, sometimes it's called granulithic paving and granule concrete. Okay. Cement, sand, hard wearing rock. Okay. Like this. This. So you have to search for some specification, right, when you describe. I don't want to give you one as standard specifications because each of you is supposed to have your own. Okay. Let me see Wikipedia. Okay, granulithic is something like this. Actually, it's a cement Sanskrit lah, but it's rough. It's a wear flooring. Cement and other materials. Cement and stone. Cement, sand, and stone. Okay. One, 2 to 1. Okay, I don't know how, because it's the position. You can say like you can just do some 1 to 3 or 1 to 4. Okay, so same here. You put paving also can. Yeah. So you can say describe granulithic paving topping consists of cement, sand, and black stone and stone and selected stone to approve ratio. Okay, if you don't know the ratio, then you just put to approve ratio lah. Okay, then this is a composition. Okay, sorry, need to talk about thickness. Okay, then my thickness, you put letter also can. Approve ratio, finish. Okay, lead to concrete surface, finish. You must say put to where and finish with what? Finish smooth, finish smooth to false with a wood float or steel trowel. Okay, then now you talk about where is it. Okay, so you can say now they got in the assignment, you have what is this? Tread, riser, and staircase. Okay, stairs, treads, and riser. Top of stair 2, G20, and the ramp. Let me go and take a look. Where is G20, G12? G12. Where's G12? Here. Okay. Outdoor area G12. Stair 1, treads, and riser. Okay. And what else? Stair 1, tread, and risers. And G12 to the top of the stair 2, and G20 and the ramp. G12. Okay. G12 here. Okay. G20 outdoor area. Stair 2, where's stair 2? I can't see staircase 2. Stair 4. Let me see where is stair 2. Oh, here you are. Stair 2. Top of stair 2. G20 and the RAM. Oh, this is step 2, step 1, step 2, G12, G20 and the RAM. Where's G20? Okay, so depends on where you want to put it, okay? You can put separately. Yeah. Okay, so you can put 25 mm thick to spare 1 thread. Okay, this is 25 mm. No, but you must see first, is it thread first or floor first? Yeah, then you must see the this one. Okay, so we always go wall column. Okay, floor first, and staircase landing, and then thread and riser. Okay, so you must do floor first. To floor. Okay. Hello. Hello. Okay, now you're here. Okay. To floor at G12. G12 outdoor area, for example, this, okay. 25, 20. I don't know how you put, okay. 20 mm thick to stair 1 thread. 20 mm thick to stair 1 riser. Okay. So here, this one is in length and oops, sorry, I think it dropped already. Yeah, and this one is in area. Okay, this few thing we indented in first. Okay, indented in first. This few thing also indented in first. Okay, so this few thing is, oops, I got some problem. Okay, sorry, this is not indented in here. Gotta go out here. Okay, indent here, indent here, indent here. Okay, here you are. Let me see, how does it look like? Data, generate BOQ. So guys, the key things is you need to do a proper descriptions. Like you must follow the standard, okay? The standard say you must say how number, thickness. So as long as you're fulfilling that, okay, so example, you got plasterboard here. Okay, you got plasterboard, and plasterboard here, you know, plaster ceiling, and a streamline here, okay? Then you got the next thread, done. Paving, okay, also you have, oh, I got something wrong with this. Okay, sorry. This one, where is it? Oh, supposed to be here. Don't know how somehow it's go there. Okay, you insert here. Okay, so this one is, I'm gonna delete indent, delete. Yeah, somehow it's floating to there. Okay, so that's not very right. Okay, you have BOQ. Here. Paving also here. Okay. And this is the paving. So this is ABC. I don't know why somehow it's something wrong with this. Provide samples. It's supposed to be items. Okay, granitic paving. This is a 1. This is a floor. This is thread. Okay. Any questions, guys? You have to do your own the ratio. You put 1 to 3, 1 to 4, or something, whatever lah. Then you want to be smooth to 4 or no 4, so can up to you. So basically, you do a very creative, not say creative informative and comprehensive descriptions according to the standard, and then you do the measurement. The measurement is very easy, you know, but the description is a little bit more tricky. Any questions, Guy? Do you have any questions for me? Okay, if not, I'm gonna call attendance. Then if you have question, you can stay back. If not, I'm gonna masonry and 12 reinforcement. Okay. Yes, questions. Okay, this one, masonry and 12 reinforcement. You need to find where is the details. Okay, looking at the detail first. Let me see the CS drawing whether I have any interesting things. Okay. Oh, let me see you have any block wall here. Okay. You got some block wall here, isn't it? What's the question regard asking you a block wall? Where is the block wall? Block work retaining walls. Where is the block work retaining walls? I think it's somewhere here, right? Aha, here you are. You see that? Here is the retaining walls. You see there's some, is it this one? Doesn't look like. Is it block wall retaining wall here? Where's the block wall? Lower ground floor. Do you have a lower ground floor? Okay, this is paving. This is a facing slab. Facing slab. This is block work. Yeah, here you are. This is the block wall. Yeah, this is the block wall, right? This is the retaining wall here. I think this is the retaining wall here. Okay, so I hope that you know where is the retaining wall here. So let me see the CS drawings. This is the one, isn't it? Retaining wall RW1, also called RW2. So these are the two. Okay, dash 190. So it's a 190 thickness. So let's talk about RW. Okay, concrete block retaining wall. Now here you are. You see that? This is the retaining wall 1. So the retaining wall ones, this is they ask for N12, isn't it? Okay, where's N12? N16. Okay, there's no N12. Okay, can you change N12 to N16? There's no N12, isn't it? They couldn't find any N12. Oh, retaining wall 3 is N12. Okay. What's the questions again? To block work retaining wall N12 reinforcement. Okay, so you look for N12. Here you are, N12 at RW3. This is RW2 is N16. And this one RW1 also N16. N16. Okay, N16. So here's N12. N12 100 both way. Yes, there's one more N12 here, another N12 here. Okay. What does it mean by both way? Okay, both way mean okay, this is a footing, you don't need to worry. Okay, both way mean both side left and right. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Your N12, where does it go to? N16, N16, this is the link here, N12, 400 both way. This one also N12, 400 both way. Okay. Are you still there, guy? Are you still there for N12? Okay, so they say N12 400 both way here. So maximum is only 800 here. So you know there's a 1 piece, 2 piece here. Okay. And you have 400 maximum. So you got only 2 pieces on this side. And the other side, what is the height of that? What's the height of that? Is it 800? You see RW3? Is it? Where's RW3? RW3, RW3. RW3, where are you? Here is RW2. Aha, RW3 is here. Okay, so RW3 is here. And the height of it is 800 here only. Okay, and 12, 400 here. Okay, so the length here, first of all, you need to find where's the length here. Okay, so this length here is, let me see, I don't know what's the length here. Do they put any scale here? I go and see here to see there's a length, okay? Here, right? Here, huh? I think it's 3.8, 1.765 lah. Okay, this is the length. Let me go and see is it the same? Yeah, correct. 3.8 times, okay, sorry, 2.7 and 2.7, 5.4. Okay, 5.4. So let me show it to you. It's very straightforward here. Is N12 400 spacing forward both way. 2.7, 2.7 here. Okay. So something like this, okay? So it's something like this. It's I think here is 5,400, right? This one is 800, okay, not to scale, okay? Not to scale. So you know that the N12 will be, I think there are only 2. This side will have 2. Okay, and this side will also have, I don't know how many, a few. Okay. Because both way ma. Okay, so of course this spacing, this is 400 this is 400 okay. This one also 400 So you can do some calculation like this. This is how you do. So you say horizontal. Horizontal, okay. Two number time. Okay, what is the cover? 55 mm cover, okay. 50 cover, 55 cover. Okay, so horizontal two number, horizontal length is maybe is, I don't know how you just take the 800 minus 55 times 2 minus 2 cover. Okay, so how much is that? 800 minus 55, okay, 690. 690. Okay, yes, correct. 690 equal, so this is how you file times 2. Okay, so what, 1380. Okay, yeah. Then remember the vertical the vertical number is you must use a spacing, okay, to divide over lah. Okay, got it. And after that you have to convert. You need to convert to Caucasian. Okay, the conversion is you search I think it's go and search online. You put N12 kg per meter. N12 is 0.88. Okay, 1 meter equals 0. Okay, then you have the total kilogram. Then you have to round to the nearest ton. Okay, any issue? Any more questions? Okay, I've got attendance. I let you go. If you all have any more questions, then we will get back and we will do it in the next times. Okay. Okay, let me call attendance. Today is 4th of July. 12th of June, not 4th of July. Okay. Attendance. Others? The rest of you, have you started the assignment 3? No, okay. Yes, you need to show in the show in the calc sheet. Show your calculation in the calc sheet in qubit. Okay. Not really. If you can, the calculations is you can just do it without showing the drawings. Okay, but in the calc sheet, remember to state drawing number in the calc sheet. Okay, so say state what drawing number you're referring to. So basically, just now I show you the drawing number, right? The silver drawing number you need to state. Okay, state drawing number. Okay, not start. Sorry, it's typo. Okay, very good. Let's have attendance. Okay. Yeah, I call you. You just raise your hand. Okay. Embauché, are you there? Embauché, embauché. Huh? How come Wang Rushi say yes? On Boshe. On Boshen. On Boshen. Okay, we'll come back to you later. Because if you are you Wang Rushi or are you on Boshen? I'm calling attendance. Are you Roshi or are you Bonshin? Okay, I'm calling attendance from top down, okay? On Boshe not here yet. I don't know where are you, or you just on the computer and go and sleep. Okay. Daniel here. Daniel, you here? Okay, good. Chandra, you're here. Okay, on Boshe, you're here already. Just come back, isn't it? Okay. Chandra, you're here. Okay, good. Okay, Chen Xiaming here. No problem on Boshe. Just kidding. Xiaming, are you there? You can raise your hand. Okay, good. Che Ting, I saw you somewhere here, isn't it? Che Ting here. Yeah, just now I saw she asking some questions. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Edgar, I think here just ask questions. So, Etin Zako, are you there? Etin Zako. Dong Cheng. Guo Dong Cheng here. Etin Zako here. Guo Dong Cheng here. Guo Mingjie here. Guo Mingjie here nè. Sultan Meisho here. Sultan Meisho here. Yes? No? Hello? Tin Lin here. Tin Lin here nè. Yeah. Okay. So one gang, 18 Zako Tung Cheng, Ming Jie, Su Chan, Ting Lin not here. Okay. Kong Zo Tet. I don't care whether you are logged in, If you cannot respond, I mean you're not there. Okay. Karu is here. Okay. Ting Lin is here. Okay. Guo Mingjie is here. Karu is here, right? I don't want to share with you the qubit file because I scared your copy exact the same. Okay. These descriptions you must go and get it by yourself, guys. Okay. Karu here. Y'all can try at home first. Then next week we can discuss. Ying Qian here, right? Dong Cheng also here. Wei Xing here. Lin Wei Xing here. Yes, thank you. Wei Chen here. Yes, thank you. Here. Xiao Han here. Xiao Han here. Xiao Han. Okay, Qu Yang here, right? Qu Yang here. Yep. Okay, Africa here. Okay. I cannot share with you today qubit. You know why? Because it's very similar. This is actually I get from your assignment 3. So it's not appropriate to give it to you. But I can just illustrate only. Yeah. The previous one is not your assignment 3. The previous qubit I give to you is a sample. So you can have it. It's okay. Not related. Yeah. Africa here, yes. 中和、小易、腾腾。中和 here, right? Xiao Yi and Teng Teng here. Okay. Chung He here. Wang Hao, Ruo Xu. Wang Hao here. Wang Hao, are you here? Yeah, Wang Ruo Xu here. Wang Hao. Wei Dong, Chen Hong, and Rong Yun. Okay, very good. Rong Yun. Rong Yun here. Okay, very good. Okay, Chen Lin and Chang Ci. Chen Lin and Chang Ci. Okay, good. Chang Ci. Chang Ci here now. Chang Ci, are you here? Okay, if you have call, you can go. Okay. Chang Ci never respond. I don't know where is he now. Okay. Chan Mei Tu and Wang Kun. Chan Mei Tu. Okay, Wang Kun here. Okay, Chan Mei Tu. Okay, good. Okay, guys, if you have any no more question, you can go. If you have question, you can stay back a little bit more. But anyway, the time also up. Okay, 18 Zako is here. Yes or no? 18 Zako. Anybody know whether she's here? 18 Zako. Okay, I'll mark absent. Okay, because you cannot just on the laptops and then run away. Okay. How about Su Chan Mei Shu? Su Chan Mei Shu? Okay. Here. Where's your friends? 18 Zako. Who is that? Chung He. Chung He is I marked already, I think. Yeah. How about Wang Hao? Do you know where's Wang Hao? Wang Hao is here or not? Wang Hao, are you there? Wang Hao. Okay, the rest can go, guys. Okay. Okay, thank you, guys. I hope you start on assignment 3 early. Huh? Okay, Wang Hao, you're here. Chang Ci, you're here now. Chang Ci. Okay. Okay, you're here. Okay, so you let your friend know 18 Zako cannot mark her. Okay, the rest are here. Okay, I got your questions. The requirement for inner level. Usually if you have a description that you're gonna repeat, okay. How do I say? Like floor is one item and thread riser is another items. So if this few area got the same types of material, so the material will be one descriptions. So basically what I show is that one big headings and the material descriptions. So big heading is level 1, then material description is level 2, and level 3 will be the location of that. Can be floor, thread riser, for example. Guys, you can try on assignment 3 and you can show me, if you're gonna ask, you can show me your screenshot or whatever, or for the next lessons, or do you have any questions? The The requirement in the letter is usually level 2 or 3 descriptions. Yes, it's usually level 2 descriptions. Yeah. Then the part will be the headings, you know, like plasterboard will be the main headings. That one level down for description, and then one level down for the locations. Yeah. Try it, guys. The building part, like northwest. Okay, very good questions. Certain if you can do it in the cow sheet. You know, when you draw the areas of the FC roof, FC wall covering, right? Yeah, you can put on the cow sheet. That you say, oh, this is on west elevations. You know, then you must refer to west drawing numbers, and then you just, you know, west elevation, east elevation. You can write it on the cow sheet, because the cow sheet you can signpost all the, you know, the detailings where you find the information. Yeah, show it on the cow sheet. It will be very clear for people to find. Yes, do it. Okay, any more questions? Thank you, guys. Edgar, you okay? Still have some more questions? You can ask me today better. Next week is maybe got many questions. There got no chance. Okay. Or maybe even people still haven't started next week. Okay, see you guys. See you, Wang Hao. Okay, in the description, you can say that like whatever requirement in the letter, like L1, L2, which room locations in the descriptions. But in the cow sheet, let's say, if you want to be more clarity, you can just put instead of shape 1, shape 2 then you just put maybe this is L1, L01 is this, blah 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 blah. Then L02 is blah blah blah. You know, so in the count sheet is a detail of the calculations, but in the description only show the general position, like on which room. It's up to you the count sheet, or else you just put. You know, remember when you do the qubit, you must name the shape. When you do takeoff, right, you must name the shape. You must name whether is it shape 1, shape 2. So instead of name the shape, you name the elevation 1, elevation 2, or east elevation 1, east elevation 2. Yeah. So it make it look nicer and clearer. That's what I mean. Yeah. You don't have to write so much thing in the description, you know. Description you only write material, where is it going to, what kind of materials, where is it going to, and also the location of the materials. But you don't have to go in detail, you know, how you get that quantities. How you get the quantities, you go inside the count sheet. Then you write. Are you clear, Edgar? So hot. The plan. Okay, then I'm not sure. Issue with the plan for masonry. I think there's not much problem. Remember, a plan is a horizontal cut. So when they cut through a windows or a door, you cannot see that there are brick wall go through it. But actually, the brick wall may be taller than the door. So you must still measure the brick wall as go through the doors and the windows. Yeah, I think that's what I'm not sure is that what you mean. Oh, is it? Elevation show brick wall but plan doesn't. Okay, very good question. How do you know which part show brick wall and plan doesn't? Which elevations? Which elevation you're talking about? Oh, then remember, your assignment is within don't know where only, not the whole thing. You know where you got the... Aha. Okay, I think your assignment is within these 2 blocks only. Okay. I want to show my screen here. Sorry. Your assignment is only within these 2 blocks. Okay, so don't go too far. Yeah. Which one you're talking about, Edgar? The top block drawing it for elevations, the plan doesn't. Okay. The drawing with 4 elevation, the top block, but the plan doesn't. Oh. Which one? Which elevation you're talking about? This one, You mean this one, East elevations, Here, this one, isn't it? This one, It is this one? Oh, this one is FC, right? 11, 12. 11, 12, 11, 12. Oh, this one. 11, 12. Okay, 11, 12, FB. Facing brick. Then you say the plan is not facing brick. Okay, that's interesting. Let me see. It is what? This one is the one, The right side, right? It's the one, right? This one is facing brick, this one. This is facing brick. 11, 12. Yeah, 11, 12 is here, 11, 12 is here, Yeah, this is facing brick, Stop here, because there is a windows. It's a windows, Window 4, window 5, window 6. But the side elevation, because there's a on top is a windows. 4, 5, 6. That is a windows here. Window 4, 5, 6. No. Yeah, correct. Edgar. Do you know how this drawing works or not? You know what's a plan? A plan is a section that is cut through horizontally. So just imagine, you see my color here? Okay, so they cut here. If they cut through here, that you can see here, on that section cut, you cannot see any brick wall. They only can see the window and window frame only. So that's why when we measure door, we measure wall, right? On the plan, we ignore the windows. We will just assume that the wall will go cut through all the windows and door. Then after that, you go to the elevations, you minus away the window again. So you don't go to the plan and say that, there's I know what's your concern. Okay, I really understand your concern here. What was that? Which floor is it? Here you are. Yeah. So you see here, I got W456 and D1 here, right? Your brick wall, you just have to cut through all of this, and then later you minus the opening again. You cannot just put here. Yeah, correct. So you cannot, when you see the plan, then you will not know whether, usually you if it's here is wall, right? Facing brick, here facing brick, usually it will go cut through lah. It's the same. It will go through one. It mean below and on top of these windows will be the brick lah. Will be the same brick. Yes, you cannot rely on the plan because sometimes you assume that the brick will go through here, but maybe there's some decoration on the brick at the bottom of the window. We also don't know. Seriously, we don't know. Yeah. On top of window is brick, and below window is brick, correct? But on the plan you can't see because a plan is only can show you the material at the cutting point. Further up, further down, we don't know. Remember, the plan is just like a knife. You cut through the cut through the house horizontally, and whatever go through that knife is on the plan. Yeah. So basically here, right, when I see like this, I will not know. Is this window full height? Actually, nobody know. Anything below the window? Is that brick wall below the window? I don't know. So you have to see the elevations or you have to see the size. Yeah. So you need to see the window and door size. Usually the brick wall will go through lah. It will go through here. If this is double brick wall, the door and window part also double brick wall. Yeah. So you can always assume it's the same here. But how high is the door and the window? We don't know. You need to go and see the window door schedule or to see the elevations to find the height. So remember, when you draw the brick wall on the plan, cut through all the windows and door. Okay, yeah, cut through. Don't stop there. Okay, don't stop here. Just cut through, and then you deduct. You add in the door and windows later. Then it will look very neat. Huh? Okay. Any more questions? Yeah. You don't need phantom. You can just go through it. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions before I go? Okay. Thank you. The rest of you, any more questions? Okay. Thanks, Chen Ling. Okay, I go first. Okay.